Boil, boil, I thought as I placed the can of menudo into a pot and set the heat to medium. I looked like a witch as she watched over her precious potion. But for me, what I had on the stove was precious. It was the fall of 2010, and my wife and I had just gotten married a few months earlier. As a new husband, I thought I would do something special for my wife and make dinner. At the time, we were living in the Midwest in a town where ethnic food was hard to come by, especially Mexican food. At a local market, I happened upon a canned menudo. Now, you have to understand that finding this where I was living was like stumbling upon the lost city of Atlantis. I was raised in California and accustomed to eating menudo on Sundays. Sometimes I'd wake up to the smell of it, and other times we'd make menudo after church. Sure, the menudo wasn't fresh, and it definitely wasn't mom's menudo, but given the location, it would do. I bought the can, some onions, some cilantro, and even some corn tortillas. I was going to have a meal fit for a king, albeit a Mexican king. I remember going home and carefully chopping the onions and cilantro. I watched over the simmering menudo as a new mother watches her baby sleep at night. I was excited for my wife to enjoy it with me. To my surprise, she took a bite and said she didn't like it. I was shocked. I was upset. I went through all that effort and cooked one of my favorite meals just so she can reject it. I pleaded with her to try it once more and explained how much effort I put into preparing the meal. We argued and were treated each to our separate rooms for the night. Love is defined as an intense affection toward a person, object, or situation. Prior to our marriage, when my wife and I had marriage counseling from a clergy member, we were told that there are two different kinds of love. An earthly love, like the love you have for a car or phone. With an earthly love, when that object fails you, you stop loving it. In contrast, a divine love means that you recognize something special in a person, something irreplaceable, and despite any shortcomings, you love that person anyways. It wasn't until I cooled down that I realized that, despite what happened at dinner, I love my wife. Today, whenever my wife and I argue, or there is time when she fails me, or as often as the case I fail her, I have to remember that our understanding of love helps us move past many of our issues. That said, many couples fight over minor issues, such as when a person neglects to load the dishwasher, doesn't acknowledge the other person in the conversation, or forgets to buy something at the grocery store. But none of these issues should have any bearing on a partner's love for their partner. When couples acknowledge that they love each other despite mutual failings, they can begin to grow a successful relationship. In closing, love is something that must be worked at, nurtured, and grown. It is important to remember that love is as much a mindset as it is a feeling.